Politicians of a certain type tend to create something which turns out to be something else. As in the first example, sometimes dormitories become a football stadium expansion, and as in the second example, what is portrayed as a gift is really a monument to the current leader, because the leader knows he couldn't earn one through history. But then you have to deal with the aftermath. Louisianans are familiar with the story of LSU's Tiger Stadium and Louisiana's Governor Huey Long. To quote the LSU library page of oral history on LSU football, in 1936 Tiger Stadium capacity was more than doubled when the north end zone was enclosed with a 24,000-seat addition. Money was not allocated in the state budget for the seating expansion, but money was allocated for dormitories. To bypass the legislature and increase his beloved school's stadium capacity, Governor Huey P. Long ordered that dormitories be built in the stadium, with seating above the student living quarters. The dorm rooms weren't that great. I had a friend who lived in one of them when I was at LSU. They have since been converted to offices. I have a nephew who works in one of them. Huey Long's legacy lives on physically and historically. On the national level, there's the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial and the Lincoln Memorial in D.C. to name a few which Congress agreed to establish with the general agreement and consensus of the public that they should be erected. Now comes Donald Trump, who constantly craves attention. He doesn't want history to judge him and not give him a monument he thinks he deserves. He has decided to build himself one. A tall, massive, obtrusive monument on the White House grounds designed to visually dwarf the White House itself. He is presenting this take of White House real estate as a gift. In his mind, generations after this would see the White House compound dominating building and stand in awe of Trump. He has brought together anonymous donors to fund this, and since he holds the presidency, he can hire and fire anyone who would stand in his way of this project and is rushing to get it done while he is still in power before the end of his presidency. One might wonder that since Trump is a transactional person, what presidential policies and appointments Trump may have traded to contributors to create his monument on the prime real estate of the White House. The contributions are a bribe to his ego, but technically a gift to the government. Like the Qatari jet gift, it is a true Trump-esque scheme. Trump says the White House needs a facility to hold large events. Politicians and influence peddlers need contributors and those who need to be influenced to be rewarded at events to see and be seen. The ballroom is designed to host 650 people. Taxpayers and others might ask, should the government be hosting parties for 650 people? Maybe we shouldn't. He also said people have been wanting a large ballroom at the White House for years, but failed to say who, because he is the only one who wants it. After hearing of this, some opined once it is built that it likely won't be torn down and we are stuck with it. But it needn't be torn down when adjustments can be made to make it aesthetically compatible with its site and increase its utility. What is being done with this project isn't a criticism of the architect. Apparently, he is very good. But he is saddled with an egotistical client with a project which has to fulfill the client's demands, and not those of the American public. Once Trump leaves the White House, a solicitation can be made of other billionaires just like Trump did to build this thing. The area below the structure might be excavated, jacks inserted and the building lowered until the ballroom reaches the ground level. French windows would replace the ballroom windows, allowing people using the ballroom to go in and out at ground level. The current design is about control. The audience is brought in and forced to stay in that area whether they want to go outside and talk privately, avoid someone or get some fresh air. There still can be restrictions as far as they can go. Although the back stairway is beautiful, the large stairs would be unnecessary with the ballroom becoming a ground floor with other entrances and exits, thus eliminating the need for the fire emergency stairs on the end. So the stones from those can be used to construct window wells for the bottom floor now below grade, as well as stairs for the bottom floor. Removal of these stairs also reduces the visually imposing size of the structure on the White House compound. The colonnade would then provide coverage for people entering and exiting the ballroom on the White House side, but window wells would have to be worked in for the bottom floor. Because the reduction in height without an accompanying change in width of the portico would result in an aesthetically unpleasing ratio, the portico's width should be reduced and maybe another smaller one placed on the north side from the parts of the original, allowing 2 entrance and exit points for events, or the north side could be used as an access to the downstairs, leaving the other one to the ballroom. If the president needs a receiving line, the 2 flows can be brought in and merged. This would bring this building's height at or below that of the White House and remove the extra stairs, helping to further mitigate the dwarfing of the White House and further unbalancing the symmetry. There is quite a bit of expertise in moving large masonry buildings, as shown in this move of Hotel Pelham in 1869 without modern equipment. During the move, people occupied the building while the building was still connected to utilities. The National Park Service moved the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse in 1999 as the sea threatened it. Think about the stability problems its height-to-width ratio presented. These were the more problematic horizontal moves, not a vertical move as proposed. I-beams would be run under it, and once done, the I-beams can be sold to build a building which would then have an interesting story. It may be the current cramped formatting of the White House's press room was done intentionally to make it unpleasant, so the press doesn't want to stay long. But I hope the press conferences may be moved from that packed, cramped, sardine-can room presently being used to a section of the ballroom. It would be so easy to enclose a section with mobile room dividers for the press conferences. I also have a system in mind for the ballroom to be used for staff offices when not being used for extravaganzas. Otherwise, there would be a large area which would only be used a few evenings each year for tourists to gawk, reminded them of Versailles or the Kremlin. But that may be for another video. Huey Long also built the LSU Fieldhouse with handball courts larger than regulation, because things had to be big, and the new Louisiana State Capitol was designed to be the tallest in the U.S. Some utility in the Capitol may have been sacrificed by reducing the size of each floor to achieve height. I worked there at one time. Today, tourists go to the Louisiana Capitol and, among other things, search the marble in the hallway across what had been the House cloakroom for what might be the bullet holes at the location where Huey Long was assassinated. I wonder how this current mess will end up.